Do you remember when you were 8 years old, looking up and yelling out,
Single word. Shazam!
or did you think it was bad even back then as a kid, except for the 2 minutes where Cap showed up, and you still watched it every week? Here's something almost nobody knows. The original Captain Marvel outsold Superman. He was the best-selling superhero comic of the entire 1940s. Then he vanished for 20 years, got resurrected under a name that wasn't even his, and ended up starring in a show that got canceled with no announcement and no goodbye.
You think the elders would mind?
I doubt it. Shazam!
At the heart of it all was a kid named Billy Batson, just an ordinary teenager, the kind of kid who could have sat next to you in class. But 6 ancient beings had chosen him. Their names spell out S-H-A-Z-A-M. When Billy said the word, the lightning came, and in one flash, an ordinary kid became the mightiest hero alive. So what made Billy so special? He never got drunk on that power. He rode around in a motorhome with old Mentor, helping kids in trouble. The power was never the point. Shazam was never actually called Shazam.
Marvel.
His name was Captain Marvel. Yup, before Marvel's Captain Marvel ever hit a movie screen, DC's Billy Batson had already carried that name for decades. Billy says the magic word, lightning strikes, Captain Marvel appears. That's who he was, all the way back to 1940 when he debuted in Whiz Comics #2 and became a kid's favorite. He didn't just compete with Superman, he outsold him. Captain Marvel was the best-selling superhero comic of the entire 1940s. By 1953, it was finished. DC's predecessor company sued Fawcett Comics, claiming Captain Marvel was too similar to Superman. Fawcett lost, surrendered the character, and walked away. The company that killed Captain Marvel eventually became the company that bought him. He vanished from shelves for nearly 20 years. Then DC licensed the character back in 1972 and hit a wall. Marvel Comics had grabbed the name years earlier while nobody was watching. DC couldn't call their comic Captain Marvel anymore, so they named it after the magic word instead. When Filmation brought the show to CBS in 1974, the title read Shazam, not Captain Marvel, a legendary hero back from the dead, wearing someone else's name. Here's the thing that should have sunk this show. In 1974, superhero TV ran on spectacle. Bigger villains, louder fights, a new world-ending threat every week. Shazam threw all of that out. No supervillains, no doomsday. Just a kid and the small, real problems sitting in every schoolyard in America.
Okay, you're blind. But so are a lot of other people. Like Jose Feliciano, Ray Charles, and Stevie Wonder.
So?
2 things kept kids coming back. First, the payoff. Every episode built toward one moment. Billy yelling Shazam, lightning splitting the screen, the hero crashing in through fire. Kids sat through the slow parts just for that. Second, the show respected you. It never talked down. At the end, the hero looked into the camera and told you the truth. Be honest, be brave, look out for each other.
Hi. Today you saw why everyone should be given a chance to prove his or her abilities. Don't put someone down just because...
And here's the part worth arguing about. Go watch what passes for kids content now. Fast cuts, no lesson, no moment where anyone looks you in the eye and means something. A cheap, slow, moral of the week show from 1974 respected its audience more than most of what's algorithm fed to kids these days.
You know, Mentor, if I didn't know you better, I'd say that you have a tear in your eye.
It's ridiculous. But cinder, possibly. But a tear?
This wasn't a cheap weekend cash grab. Filmation licensed the character straight from DC and built it with real care. Shazam's costume was an exact match to the comics. The transformation sequence, Billy dissolving into the Elder's glowing cavern, then the burst of lightning and flame, took real effort to pull off for 1974 Saturday morning TV. Then there's Mentor, driving that 1973 Dodge motorhome like a friendly old grandpa. Here's the thing. Mentor wasn't in the comics at all. He was made just for this show, and his link to the Elders was never explained. The 6 Elders, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury. That's literally where the word Shazam comes from. 1 letter each. Kings, Titans, and gods all sharing one acronym. And the man running the studio, Lou Scheimer, voiced them himself. So how did something built this carefully start falling apart?
Everybody pays for this sort of thing, even the vandals.
Speaking of damage, I'm afraid I had to break the chain on the gate there.
Well, under the circumstances, I think I can overlook it. Thanks, Captain Marvel.
Glad to help.
Jackson Bostwick was Shazam. Bright-eyed, square-jawed, built like the comic come to life. He played the hero through all of Season 1, and you could tell he loved it. Early in Season 2, he was gone. The fans never got a goodbye. Bostwick did most of his own stunts. He got hurt on set, saw a doctor, and was told to rest. The producers looked at that empty chair and jumped straight to the worst possible conclusion, with zero proof that he was secretly holding out for more money, so they fired him. Let's be clear about what that actually was. That wasn't a tough call under pressure. That was a studio protecting a shooting schedule by throwing out the guy who got hurt doing their stunts for them, then inventing a story to cover it. His replacement, John Davy, was older, rougher around the edges, and less like the comic book hero kids had pictured. Fans noticed immediately.
Don's figured out that a man that's too stiff to bend is liable to break when the pressure's on. From now on, he's going to ask for help when he needs it.
Is that right, Don?
You bet.
Bostwick sued Filmation and won. They were forced to pay his full salary for the rest of the series, plus residuals on every rerun after. Yeah, the costume was the same, but kids didn't take to the new guy. And that was just the first crack. The money was thin from the start, and after a while, you could see it on screen. The big transformation scene played every episode using the exact same footage, over and over. The flying shots got recycled so often, kids could call them before they hit. The cape never billowed like a hero should. It just laid flat, because there was no budget for anything fancier. The flying trick itself was a board, an actor strapped to it, and a car driving him past the camera.
Antenna, without HD or anything else way back in the 70s, I think you'd probably be able to see this. I mean, the rest of it looks pretty good up until you get to this point.
There were no fancy sound stages either. The endless road trip premise was really just an excuse to shoot outdoors and skip building sets, out in Griffith Park, Sylmar, the dry canyons around Los Angeles. Same cliffs, same fields, week after week. But here's the thing though. The cheapness is exactly why it worked. A bigger budget would have buried Billy under spectacle the same way today's superhero movies bury character under 2.5 hours of weightless CGI. Nobody remembers a single fight scene from Shazam. They remember Billy's face right before he says the word. That's not despite the budget, that's because of it. The formula was starting to crack too. Billy and Mentor roll into a new spot. Some kid's about to do something dumb, things go sideways, Billy yells, "Shazam!" The hero fixes it, delivers the lesson, roll credits. The topics were real: drugs, peer pressure, runaways, and kids borrowing cars in the very first episode, the Joyriders. But the structure got way too predictable. Here's a detail fans obsess over. The moment everyone wanted, Shazam changing back into Billy on screen, almost never happened. Across the entire series, that scene played out 4 times. 4. They couldn't even afford to show the magic both ways. No finale, no goodbye episode, no send-off for Billy, Mentor, or the Elders who'd ridden along for 3 seasons and 28 episodes. The show premiered on CBS on September 7, 1974. After 3 seasons, it quietly wound down. One Saturday it was there, then it wasn't. The Bostwick mess had knocked the wind out of the show mid-run. The budget never got better, and Saturday mornings were changing. Kids wanted bigger, louder, faster than a life lesson delivered from the side of a motorhome. Here's the part that stings. Mentor, the heart of the whole show, never got his story told. Who was he? How'd he end up with Billy? What was his deal with the Elders? And who was paying for gas? The show never said. The motorhome pulled over for the last time, and nobody came back to explain a thing. For a series that wrapped up every episode with a neat little moral, it sure didn't get a tidy ending of its own. Shazam was Filmation's first live-action show. They'd only ever done cartoons before. They pulled a character straight from the comics, built a whole road trip world around him, and made it work on almost no money. That little moral at the end of each episode became Filmation's signature move. A hero looking into the camera, telling kids what the story meant. Simple, direct, and it stuck with a generation.
Asking for help or advice when we need it isn't a sign of weakness. It shows you're smart.
Did you watch Shazam growing up? Drop it in the comments.